In December 2022, an unexpected traffic jam of massive oil tankers brought the Bosphorus Strait in Istanbul to a complete standstill. Colossal vessels, some nearly 1,000 feet long, sat idle, choking off one of the busiest shipping lanes on Earth. This waterway is a vital trade artery, a narrow bottleneck where civilizations have jostled for power since the days of ancient Athens. Controlling the flow of resources through the strait has always conferred immense power. Normally, a gridlock this size suggests a shipwreck or a naval blockade, but the waters were clear, no hostile warships stood in the path, and no accidents were reported. The delay actually began 5,000 miles away, inside the U.S. Treasury Department. A few paragraphs of regulatory jargon regarding a price cap had been uploaded to their website, and the effects rippled across the globe instantly. Under this new rule, any Russian oil sold for more than $60 a barrel would lose its Western maritime insurance. Turkish officials, fearing the financial liability of an uninsured oil spill in their waters, demanded proof of coverage that the ships could no longer provide. Throughout the 1990s, enforcing an embargo on Iraq required a billion-dollar naval armada. Sailors had to physically climb aboard and inspect ships one by one to ensure compliance. Now, Washington can achieve the same economic strangulation through digital PDFs. By weaponizing simple regulations, the United States has gained the ability to freeze global trade without deploying a single soldier. This power exists because beneath the supposedly decentralized free market lies a highly centralized system of invisible infrastructure. To see how the system functions, consider a trade between two foreign nations with 0 American participants. An Indian refinery purchasing crude oil from Saudi Arabia. The Saudi firm requires payment in US dollars. Because oil is globally priced in the American currency, the Indian refinery has to convert its rupees before the deal can proceed. Most local banks cannot exchange every world currency directly. They only hold significant reserves of their home currency and the US dollar. To bridge the gap, the transaction must route through a correspondent bank in New York. This intermediary bank debits the Indian account and credits the Saudi account in dollars. This final step requires the money to pass through US-based clearing systems like CHIPS or Fedwire. Even though no Americans bought or sold the oil, the trade could not happen without American infrastructure. This makes the US government the ultimate gatekeeper for almost every major transaction in the global economy. Because global finance must eventually touch U.S. soil or use U.S. systems, Washington can exert pressure far beyond its own borders. With a single executive order, the Treasury Department can block any foreign company or individual from using this digital plumbing, effectively cutting them off from the world economy. If a bank in London or Paris tries to ignore these orders, they face multi-billion-dollar fines from the U.S. Justice Department. These penalties are often steep enough to threaten the bank's survival. To protect their own access to the dollar, international banks have started enforcing American rules on their own clients worldwide. They proactively block suspicious accounts before the U.S. government even has to ask. Global banks have become the frontline infantry for American foreign policy, enforcing Washington's will simply to protect their own ability to do business. The United States now routinely targets major powers like Russia and China by squeezing these financial and technological choke points, often favoring economic pressure over traditional military strikes. For years, policymakers deployed these tools under the assumption that they were a low-cost alternative to war with few long-term consequences for the United States. However, the speed and scale of these invisible weapons have alarmed governments around the world. They now see the global financial system as a vulnerability rather than a neutral utility. Adversaries and neutral swing states are currently scrambling to build alternative, insulated financial networks. They are searching for ways to trade that do not require the US dollar or American systems. By hollowing out an adversary's resources through the global economy, the US risks fracturing that economy permanently. Squeezing these choke points too hard may eventually destroy the very infrastructure that gives America its unique leverage.